Welcome back to this with me, Davis. So, here's the story all about how I got flipped many times going upside down and forward. I'm going to call this the Fresh Prince of being in the air. Alright? So, there's a friend of mine lives in a neighborhood, and at the end of his neighborhood, like a lot of neighborhoods that are near lakes, they have a lake lot. And their lake lot's a pretty nice lake lot. It's big. I was going to a friend of mine's 8th birthday, Tanner, and no need for last names. 8th birthday. I'll set the scene for you. Big, wide open plot of green grass ended with a beach and a beautiful, large lake. There's a nice covering like a gazebo, but not as gazebo-y.
A roof.
Like a roof. There's a roof with beams. And there's tables under that, big old plot of land, and 2 large blow-up structures, such as a water slide and a bouncy house. There's a blow-up water slide and a blow-up bouncy house. And now, when you're 9, like I was, that's the main attraction. Unless, of course, which there was tubing there. But that was by the hour. We'd tube for an hour, and then we'd take an hour break. And during those hour breaks, you better bet I was on those big old blow-up structures. Right? Now, this water slide, it's like I'm sure you've seen the blow-up water slides. They're all like they're pretty tall. They get tall. And this was definitely one of the taller ones. Now, it's the basic setup. You got a ladder or like some stairs going up to the top, and then a basic slide down, and water's coming out the top, and it's spraying. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's so cold! Hurry up and move so I can." Well, there's a lot of pushing on those things. It gets very wobbly, and it gets very shovey, because kids get impatient to go down a water slide, especially when there's a bunch of cold water spraying all over them. I'm at the very tippity tip top, and I'm about to go down. There's like 3 people lined up on the thing, and a 4th person comes along. I believe I want to say it's this one kid that is always really annoying. I think it's Tomifer. I'm going to constantly refer to Tomifer. He's not the same person, but whenever there's a really annoying kid, I'm calling him Tomifer. So Tomifer comes along. He's up here, and there's 3 of us lined up, and we're sort of next to each other, but we're not going to go at the same time. We're going one at a time. And I'm next, and Tomifer's up here. He's like, "All right, time to go, boys," and he jumps over me. Now, Tomifer, he jumps over me, and he knocks me down. I don't want to go down the slide yet. There's people at the bottom. I could hit them. I could get hurt. I was very self-conscious about getting hurt when I was younger. Getting hurt was not a thing I like to do. Nowadays, I don't...
Self-conscious about getting hurt?
I'm very self-conscious about being harmed and closer to death. But, like, nowadays, I'll if I'm gonna go down a slide and there's someone at the bottom, I'm like, all right, you better move, because I can handle it. I can handle a bump on the head. But back then I was not. So I grabbed the side of the slide, and with all the bumping and pushing that's going around, it's kind of going. I go over the side and I get flipped over the side of this blow up water slide. Of this big blow up thing, and I'm like right at the top. I've only gone down like 5 feet of the slide. And I go over this like the bumpy side, and I'm just holding on, and it's slippery. I'm holding up. There's a table underneath me of like not directly underneath me, like a couple, I'd say maybe 25-ish feet underneath me, and it's got like a bunch of forks and like potato casserole. Potato salad, my bad. just like a whole bunch of outdoor picnic type foods. Not important because I'm hanging by like a super slippery piece of rubber while kids are jumping around, bouncing on it, and going down the slide. People are like going by and hitting me. Tomifer gets up again. I've been hanging on for like 5 minutes shouting help, and so many kids shout help at the bottom of the slide that parents don't pay attention. Like, that's really dumb to say, but all of the parents there had multiple kids, and when you have more than one kid, you're like, oh, they'll be fine. Like, you're super protective with one kid, and then the next thing you're like, right? So, I'm hanging there for like 5 minutes, people are going down, they're not doing anything about it. I'm just, and every bump, every movement, every slide, I'm slipping back farther, and at this point, I'm like, I got tears in my eyes, I'm trying not to cry, because
boys don't cry.
Boys don't cry. I'm slipping. At first, I had my arms like around the whole, because the railing on those things are round, because you can't have a square blow up. It's really hard. And every time it moved, I slipped back and back more. So, at this point, about to fall, I'm at like the peak of the curve. My fingers, I'm like, this is not good. I'm gonna break my legs. I'm going to fall and break my legs. No one's going to... Guess who starts coming up the slide for the third time? It's Tomifer. Now, Tomifer, he thought it was really funny every time he went down the slide to slap at my hands. He did this the second time he went down, and this time, where I let go of one of my hands, and this one was just like... Now, last... Or, I don't know if it would be last episode, but... In a previous episode, when I got into a situation like this, time slowed. This was not the case this time. This time I was falling back, and it was less like time slowed, and more like it felt like I was going a lot faster than I really was. I thought I didn't even have the time to think it all the way, but when I landed in luckily, so I said there was a table beneath me, and it had... Well, Tanner's dad was getting potato salad, and he's a fireman. So, he and his strong fireman arms caught me, but I thought I was still falling when I landed in his arms. So I'm thrashing about in his arms. Luckily, I'm safe, right? Because he's an excellent catch, gotta say. I'm like,
You just broke the microphone.
Oh, great. Landed in Martin's arm, still thrashing, I'm screaming, and I'm like, I started crying, because, if you fall 25 feet, and you think you're going to hit the ground soon, which I wasn't, because I had been caught, I thought if my legs weren't going to break, because when I fell, I started falling back, my entire back's going to turn to soup. I was going to hit my head on the table, and it's just going to be another entree on that picnic table. And, I give all my thanks to Fireman for really saving me there, and yeah. So after he let me out he put me down. I was like, I was breathing really heavy, and I was like, oh man, another close call with the lady, the love, death.
Death a lady?
Death's a lady, and she's my lady.